admin meeting?
Sure.
This is a PowerPoint that I put together just to kind of lay out the groundwork for our data team meetings that's gonna start this week on Wednesday. We've already rolled out the PLC protocol to the teachers, so they've already started some of this, but we wanna kind of look at this cycle. The goal for this year is based on the data, just to make sure that teachers are having data-driven dialogue, is to get them to talking about the data and looking at it from a more focused standpoint. So why data? Looking at our CCRPI score, and I sent that to y'all, at least we did increase by a couple of points, so that's a good thing, so we are heading in the right direction. Data leads to teachers being able to reflect on their own practices. I think it's very important for teachers to be able to reflect. Generate new strategies to reach students, make practical educational decisions, meet the needs of individual students' learning styles, determine and reevaluate previous decisions for effectiveness, and ultimately be a more engaged, effective, productive, confident, and happy educator. And this is really key, where they can determine, when we started looking at those unit assessments, that's one way we got them to start looking at the data, because the district is also pushing for them to have these summative assessments, formative assessments, and to eventually they're gonna start rolling out benchmarks from the district area. So it'll be consistent across grade levels and consistent across the 7 schools that elementary schools, because the kids are so transient, and so when they transition from one school to the next, they'll have we're doing the same thing. So that's the push.
And they've already done that with the BAS.
Yes.
It's system one.
So that's a good thing. It's gonna take a lot of work, but I think once they lay it out, it should be fine. So data teams, it's a process that allows you to examine student data at the micro level. Sit down and actually look at it, look for those patterns, see where we're seeing where kids are maybe missing the same question. Teachers can go back and look. They can create flexible groups, and these are all things that we talked about in the PLC protocol. Data team provides a structure for teachers to specifically identify areas of student need and collaboratively decide on the best instructional approach in response to those needs. And data is only useful when it is linked to decisions about teaching and learning. That is the key. If we have all this data, but we're not doing anything with it, does it do us any good? We have to start looking at the data and letting it drive instruction. That is the critical part. So this PowerPoint is really to let you know your role when we have these data team meetings, as the academic coaches, as the interventionists as well. Data teams use common standards, generate common formative assessments, and we've already started this, and use common scoring guides to monitor and analyze student performance. They also have a sheet. I meant to bring a couple of them because 6th grade did a great job, how they started to do some cross-curriculum using constructive response in social studies, and then she's assessing them in ELA. So they are using that sheet that was rolled out to them at PLC protocol. So they are seeing the benefits of it. So, and I think the more that we push it and the more that we speak the same language and talk to them and we're on the same page, we're gonna get the results that we're looking for. And so it's all broken down by grade level. And like I said, I'm gonna share this to you. I'm not gonna read all of it. But data teams have scheduled, collaborative, structured meetings that concentrate on the effectiveness of teaching and learning. That is the main goal. And we are a professional learning community. We do data teams. That's what we're gonna do here at AKD. We're gonna roll out our data teams. These are the 4 critical questions, and I think we have this across the board, and as long as we keep speaking the same language, what are students supposed to know and be able to do? How do we know when our students have learned? How do we respond when students haven't learned? And how do we respond when students already know the content? So we're not only differentiating, we're gonna also accelerate, because we can't leave those kids that already know behind, which is a conversation that we had with kindergarten. We gotta be able to pace and move. I'm gonna look at Georgia Standards of Excellence, common formative assessments, interventions, and that's where our math intervention and reading intervention specialists is gonna come into play. And then differentiation and acceleration. So here's the cycle. The first meeting, which is the meeting that you're gonna have on the 23rd, we need teachers to understand the purpose of the data teams and their alignment with the beliefs of the school, but not only the school, but now also the district. Dr. Dixon put together a great PowerPoint for data that I think we need to probably use at the first meeting for y'all to roll out to kind of show them that this is where we're going. It's not only this school, but it's district. So we got started in the right direction in advance. So we already pushed it out, so they're familiar with it. Other schools are pushing to go that way as well. We gotta understand who our learners are. That's what we gotta get the teachers to understand. That's the whole purpose of looking at the data. And to understand the data team meeting. So once you sit down, so that first Wednesday, when they sit down at their POC protocol, that's when they starting to look at everything and plan their common assessments. Then the cycle starts, you're gonna monitor, which is the next slide. They're gonna meet with the team to determine the roles, responsibilities, and commitments. They've already done that. They've done that through their POC protocol.